and welcome back to Newsmax Now. I'm Miranda Kahn, along with John Bachman.
It's good to be back with everybody. And now, of course, it's time to laugh, to compare the headlines with the punchlines, and that's what we call this segment, appropriately enough.
I like that.
Headlines and punchlines. First up, Hillary, of course, has begun her campaign, taking that road trip to Iowa from Politico. The newly declared presidential candidate is on her way to Iowa from New York in a van after announcing her candidacy online this Sunday.
Hillary Clinton is now driving from New York to Iowa. Did you know that?
Yeah.
She's in a van. She's driving from New York to Iowa. It's being called the least exciting spring break trip in history. No one's happy about that. Woo!
Ooh, well, from Newsmax.com, Hillary Clinton announced her bid for the presidency on Sunday afternoon, and within hours, her potential Republican rival slammed her on everything from foreign policy to corruption. Comedy Central Larry Wilmore compares GOP members opposing Hillary to a popular show known as Game of Thrones.
You know them, the cold, calculating patriarch who, from the sidelines, has been manipulating his family into positions of power. The inept, torture-loving bully who famously choked at a banquet. And the heir-apparent son who people like in spite of all the red flags. And who tragically just lost his right hand. So sad. I know, it's sad. The biggest competition right now, of course, is the dark horse from the fringes, who has the courage of his convictions but has been turned crazy by religion. Also, Hodor. Okay, enough of that. All right. Pretty much sums it up.
I think the comparisons are a little too easy there with Game of Thrones.
Too easy? What, you
yes.
wanted it to be challenging, or I thought
Maybe a little bit more original.
I thought that was pretty original.
There was one.
Do you watch the show Game of Thrones?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
and they did this back in 2012 too, during the presidential primary, comparing it to Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I missed that one, but I still think it was clever. It made me laugh.
Yes.
Hopefully it made you laugh.
Rand Paul is Stannis Baratheon. Interesting take there. All right. The New York Times also doing its own spin-up on the Marco Rubio presidential announcement. Here's from the Times. He's running for president, declaring that he is the best person to lead the United States into another American century. He presented himself as the embodiment of a generational change who can unite the Republican Party's factions and also offer economic solutions for the 20th century. But Conan O'Brien questions his qualifications.
Another fun fact, it's been reported that Florida Senator Marco Rubio graduated high school with a 2.1 grade point average. Yes, or as that's called in Florida, graduating with honors. That's apparently, in Florida, that's good stuff.
Well, we do have the butterfly ballot. And when anything bad happened here, my father-in-law in Illinois used to say, of course, everything happens in Florida. No comment? I love living in Florida, but...
Well, you know, if it was easy to live down here, everybody would do it. Miranda, your GPA in high school? I'll put you on the spot real quick.
Oh, gosh, I don't remember. I know it was,
No, you don't
it
have
was
to answer
honor roll, but it wasn't a 2.0. It was definitely above that. It wasn't 4.0. So, you know, honor roll.
Well, also,
That's done, right?
Jeb Bush will have to answer for Florida's education system, too. But let's also talk about what's coming up right next, right here on Newsmax TV on Midpoint. Ed Berliner will be with you very shortly. He's going to be talking with former Congressman J.C. Watts, and they're going to dig into the campaigns of Marco Rubio and other GOP presidential contenders. We saw Watts at the announcement for Rand Paul. Also, he's going to talk about whether Hillary Clinton can ever be viewed as, quote, warm and fuzzy. Also, the consistent fraud being pushed by certain activists regarding this equal pay day debate. That'll be interesting. And telling it like it is, that's going to break down the Bubba principle, which led to the death of an unarmed felon in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Very interesting to see his take on all of that.
I bet Ed got a 4.0.
You think so?
Yeah.
4.0 kind of guy?
What do you think, Ed?
I can
You're
hear
kind of a 4.0 guy, right? He's laughing. No comment? You pleading the fifth?
We can hear Ed laughing.
I had a mother who was a history teacher, and yeah, so pressure was on. Was it on for you? I'm sure it was.
Pressure was on. Always on.
Always on.
I did not graduate with honors from high school, but I don't think high school really matters as much.
No, as long as you actually go.
Yes.
And you graduate.
It didn't really matter for Barack Obama either. A lot of questions about his educational records. It always comes up. You can see what's coming up later here today on Newsmax TV. Midpoint is next. Steve Malsberg coming up at 3 o'clock Eastern, and the Daily Wrap with Joe Concha starting at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. We thank you very much for being with us here today. We'll be back tomorrow. For John Bachman, Miranda Kahn, and everybody else that you don't see working right now, thanks so much.